Hey, what's up, guys? Thank you so much for tuning back in to another episode of We the People. Today, I sit down with my good friend, Dejonique Garrison. I was able to catch up with her in Atlanta, Georgia at Clark Atlanta University's homecoming. I hope that you enjoyed today's episode. Let's listen in.
Okay, so I am Dejonique Garrison. I am a news anchor / investigative reporter in Beaumont, Texas. And the why as to why I do this. I wanted to do this since I was a little girl, since I was 5 years old. I would read the ingredients on cereal boxes. I would read the closed captioning at the bottom of the screen. I've always just been a communicator, and I like to verbally communicate with people since I could remember. Oh my goodness, it's just so nostalgic. When the plane touches down in Atlanta, you just get this feeling of, I'm home. This is definitely second home for me. I spent so much time here. It means the most to me, so I'm so excited to be back. I was a little busy being here, so I was on the Essence dance line. Started dabbling in pageants. I was Miss Black and Gold here for the Alpha Phi chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha. Went on to pledge Alpha Pi chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. Some of my very best friends are members of this sorority and are some of my line sisters, so that's a lifelong bond that I established right here at CAU. Also dabbled in student government. I was a junior class treasurer, and all of those things kind of compounded and gave me the confidence to run for Miss Clark Atlanta University of my final year here at CAU, and I was so fortunate to hold that title, and that was just so special. All of my family members attended HBCUs, more specifically Southern University, and I knew that I didn't want to stay in Louisiana. I kind of wanted to venture out and experience something different, experience something new. I've always been a risk taker. So I did my research, and Clark Atlanta University it was. But why I say my perspective is different is because I've attended an HBCU, but I also went to graduate school at a predominantly white institution, Northwestern University. And both experiences were extremely different, but why I treasure this one is it pretty much solidified my place in society for me. It showed me that it's okay to be you. It's okay to be proud of being Black. It's okay to be proud of what our history is. We don't come from the best of circumstances, and those circumstances still have effects on the way that we live our lives today. And you got to know that history in order to be able to overcome it and to maneuver in today's society where we are minorities and we are underserved and underrepresented. I think having a group of like-minded individuals who look like you, who talk like you, come from backgrounds that you come from, that is so special, especially in a society that a lot of times tells you that your point of view is not valued. It gives you a sense of pride, and it builds this nucleus and this family and this network that is so rich, and it carries you not only through your matriculation at the institution, but through your life. It's so cool that I actually I work for people who want me to be me. And unfortunately, a lot of times as Black women in corporate America or Black women in society, period, we're kind of taught to suppress what it is that makes us Black women. So our hairstyles or the way we talk or the way we dress is very different and unique. And a lot of times it doesn't fit into that box that corporate America, and more specifically, my line of work, being on camera, being an on-air personality, kind of entails. But times are changing, and in this world, this country is diversifying, and it's like, get with it or move aside. We're not sitting down and suppressing what it is that makes us unique, and I think that unique perspective is needed in newsrooms across this country, especially with everything that we have going on. So if we are having issues where, whether it's police brutality or whether you're talking about NFL players kneeling for the anthem that are very racially sensitive or motivated, it's important to have the perspective of a Black person at the table, because a lot of times in these conversations, the genesis of why this started, the protest started, it's lost. And that's because it's easier for people to create their own narrative so that they can be comfortable with dismissing someone's feelings. So I'm going to tell you that you kneeling is about the flag so that I can then dismiss the fact that you're talking about racial injustice, police brutality, and a system that is built and designed to suppress black people.
Right.
That's a tougher conversation to have. Yeah. And so if I can't have that conversation with you, I'm going to turn this narrative and make it about my nationalism and my patriotism and how I'm proud because my grandfather fought for this country. Well, so did mine. There were black people who shed their blood for this country, and that flag does not represent what it's supposed to. Well, first, let me clarify a misconception. When you watch national news, which is what a lot of people watch, so when I say national, I'm talking CNN, Fox, MSNBC, they are slanted left or slanted right. That comes from the top, you know, most of them are slanted. When you're talking local news, which is what I do, those reporters, those anchors work very hard to tell a story down the middle. We don't get any directives from the top to say you need to lean left or lean right. We don't get any directives that say you need to make the story sound like this. Our job is to tell the story. We don't have those types of powers that be that are trying to manipulate the way that our story sounds. We're not commentators. We're journalists at the local level. For the most part, especially speaking for me and my colleagues. So I just want to make that clear because a lot of times you'll hear those terms fake news or, you know, people will always say the media. But when you're talking about local journalists, those are really hardworking people who go out and they try their darndest to get both sides of the story, to tell balanced perspectives. So I just want to get that out there. It's a big difference between local news and network news. When you talk about being balanced or being unbiased and not bringing your feelings into a story, I have this phrase I always say, facts versus feelings. The facts won't let you stand on the wrong side of history, period. Mm-hmm. So Colin Kaepernick clearly stated, this is not about the flag, this is not about the anthem, this is not about disrespect, this is about police brutality, this is about systemic oppression, this is about racism. That's a fact. I can find his transcripts and prove that to you. That's a fact. It's your feeling that what he's doing is disrespecting the flag and the national anthem. Two different things. So if we're reporting the facts are, yesterday, Colin Kaepernick knelt for the national anthem, and this is why he said he did it. That's a fact. It's a feeling if I say, yesterday, Colin Kaepernick kneeled when the national anthem came down, and he did it because he disrespected the flag. We don't know what his intentions were. All we can do is report what he said. So that's how you keep your feelings out of it. Donald Trump said this. Is it crazy that he said that? Quite possibly. It's not my place to tell you it's crazy. It's just my place to tell you what he said. You decide whether it's crazy or not. But if you're standing with the facts and he said something that's crazy, same for Barack Obama. Barack Obama did this. Well, did you see him do this? Yes, it's on video. Well, that's a fact. How I feel about what he did has no bearing on how my viewer feels. So it's not my place to tell you how to feel about it. It's my place to give you the information as it is, and you develop your own opinion. I'm from New Orleans, and I would watch Sally Ann Roberts, and I would watch Hoda Kotb. And as a matter of fact, Hoda Kotb was at one of my career days. She came to our school, and she was telling us how she reads the prompter, and she was explaining how it all worked, because I thought they memorized all of that. I'm like, news anchors are the smartest people in the world. They can memorize all this. And she's like, no, there's a little computer, and it's the words on there. And I was like, oh my gosh. So that's kind of where I fell in love with the news and what it could do for people and the changes that it could bring about. And when I think about who I want to be, I think about those ladies. So I feel like I would want to be a fixture in a local community, at the top of my game, commanding a anchor desk, being a newsroom leader, being a voice for a community, teaching younger journalists, helping them decipher, you know, is this ethical? Is this balanced? Do I still have my voice? Is this work that I'm doing, does it matter? A lot of times I think, you know, as young journalists, we're forced to do so much. We're writing, we're shooting, we're editing, we're posting to social, we're doing digital. And I think a lot of times it's just the crunch to get all of that done, as opposed to pushing out meaningful work that actually impacts people or makes changes in people's lives. And I think I want to get to the point where every single thing I do has an impact. Anytime I speak, it's a purpose behind it, and people respect it. Our forefathers obviously had the foresight to realize that you cannot suppress the press. What is there to hide? If you have something to hide, then you have a reason to want to suppress what it is that the press has access to. If you don't, you should want to invite us to dinner every night and let us, shine a light on all of the great things that you're doing. We're not in public relations. We're not here to make you look good. We're not here to make you look bad. We're here to hold people accountable. We're here to put the facts out, and we're here to present that information to the public in an unbiased way so that they can then make informed decisions. Well, first of all, journalism is very hard work. It is very hard work. It is not for the faint of heart. So if you're not ready to carry around a camera, lug a tripod, write your own web stories, not have a makeup person, because no, we don't have those. If you're not ready for those things, you might want to double check whether this is your path or not. But in all seriousness, if you are someone who is always an advocate for people, if you're someone who likes to dig a little deeper, ask that extra question. If you're someone who finds yourself noticing when that slight thing is off, and that might be the answer to why something else is happening, this could definitely be the field for you, and you have to work your butt off to get to where you want to be. It's not an easy field to get into. It's almost like being an actor or an actress. You can be as great as you want to be, but if the role doesn't call for who you are or what you offer, you won't get the job. So you have to make yourself as marketable as possible, learn as many trades of the industry, become familiar with as many subjects as you can. Don't just be that person who says, I want to report entertainment or I want to report sports. Learn how to report on local government. Learn how to look at a agenda at a council meeting and pull out a story from there. Learn that every single story you see should have a person behind it. If your story doesn't affect real people, it's not a story. I graduated from school, couldn't get a job. I worked for an airline for 2 years. I decided enough was enough. I applied to one graduate school. I got into that school. I worked really hard, graduated, and got a job. And I got a job in a small city, worked extremely hard with a small team, worked my way up, and now I'm sitting at an anchor desk. And it didn't happen overnight, and it wasn't an easy truck, and I'm not to the top by any means yet. But the fact is I'm moving and I'm progressing because I've never decided to stay stagnant or let anyone tell me that my circumstances were bigger than what my dreams and aspirations were. So don't limit yourselves. Be ready to put in some hard work and prove yourself, because you deserve a seat at the table just like anyone else.
Thank you all so much for your continued support. Please follow us on all social media platforms at BeHopefulPeople.com and check out our website at www.BeHopefulPeople.com. Have a great rest of the week, and we'll see you back here the week after next for another amazing episode. And remember, be hopeful, people. Peace.